Captain Taemin Kang stood on the bridge of the colony ship New Dawn, watching the stars stream past like rivers of light. His ship carried 847 souls toward a new world. Most of them were families. 218 were children. Their laughter echoed through the corridors every day, and that sound made Taemin smile. This was why he had joined the colony service, to give these people a fresh start among the stars. "Captain, we're approaching the debris field," said his navigation officer. "Should we scan it?" Taemin looked at the scattered wreckage on his screen. The Galactic Council had marked this route as safe. They had been traveling for 3 months without any problems. The galaxy seemed peaceful enough. "Just a quick scan," Taemin said, "then we continue on schedule." His best friend, Dr. Hannah Park, walked onto the bridge carrying 2 cups of coffee. She handed one to Taemin and stood beside him. They had known each other since university. She trusted his decisions completely. "What do you think that debris is from?" Hannah asked. "Old freighter, probably," Taemin said. "Space is full of abandoned ships." Down in engineering, young Woo Jin Choi was checking the engines. At 26 years old, he was the youngest chief engineer in the colony fleet. He took pride in keeping the New Dawn running perfectly. Every system showed green. Everything was normal. In the medical bay, 12-year-old Minji Lee sat with her mother, the ship's medical officer. Minji was reading a book about Earth's oceans. She had never seen an ocean. She was born on a space station, but soon their new colony world would have oceans. She could hardly wait. "Mom, will the new planet really have beaches?" Minji asked. "Yes, sweetheart," her mother said. "Real beaches with real water." Minji smiled and went back to her book. She felt safe here. Everyone did. Taemin finished his coffee and set the cup down. The scan of the debris field showed nothing dangerous. Just twisted metal and old ship parts. He was about to order the ship to continue when his sensors officer gasped. "Captain, multiple contacts. They just appeared on our scopes." Taemin's blood went cold. "How many?" 15 ships, sir. No, 20. They're surrounding us." The view screen changed. Taemin saw them. Alien warships, dark and covered with weapons. They moved like hunters circling prey. He had never seen ships like these before. "Hail them," Taemin ordered. "Maybe this is just a misunderstanding?" The communications officer tried. No response. The alien ships moved closer. Their weapons powered up. Red lights blinked across Taemin's control panels. "Captain, those are Vrak ships," his tactical officer said, his voice shaking. "They're raiders. They attack weaker species and take slaves." "The council said this route was safe," Taemin said. His hands gripped his chair. "Why didn't they warn us about the Vraks?" There was no time for answers. The Vraks ships opened fire. The New Dawn shook violently. Alarms screamed. Lights flickered. Taemin grabbed his armrests to stay in his seat. His ship was built for carrying families, not for fighting. They had only basic defensive weapons. "Return fire!" Taemin shouted. "Get the shields up!" His crew worked frantically. The New Dawn's small weapons fired back, but they barely scratched the Vrak's ships. The shields held for a moment, then began failing under the massive attack. "Shields at 40%, the tactical officer reported. 30%. Captain, we can't survive this." Taemin knew what he had to do. He slammed his fist on the evacuation alarm. The sound rang through the entire ship. Red lights flashed in every corridor. "All hands, abandon ship!" Taemin's voice carried to every speaker. "This is not a drill! Everyone to the escape pods! Families first! Move now!" Throughout the ship, people ran. Parents grabbed their children. Crew members helped the elderly. Terror filled the corridors. But there was order. Humans trained for this. They knew what to do. Woo Jin stayed in engineering, his fingers flying over the controls. He diverted all power to the escape pod systems. The pods needed energy to launch and to get far enough away to be safe. Wu Jin, get out of there! Taemin's voice came through the speakers. That's an order! The pods need power, Captain, Wu Jin said calmly. I'm staying until everyone is clear. In the medical bay, Hana helped load children into the nearest escape pods. Minji clutched her book, crying. Her mother pushed her toward a pod. Mom, come with me, Minji screamed. I will, baby, I promise. Just get in the pod. Go! The pods began launching. One after another, they shot away from the dying ship. 623 people escaped. They scattered into space, their pods heading in different directions. It was their only chance. But 224 people remained on the New Dawn. There hadn't been enough time. There were never enough pods. Taemin stayed on the bridge. Hana was trapped in the medical bay. Wu Jin was still in engineering. And little Minji Lee had been separated from her pod at the last second. She was alone in a corridor, crying for her mother. The Vrax ships tore into the New Dawn. Hull breaches opened. Atmosphere vented into space. The ship was dying. Taemin pulled himself to the communication station. His ship was breaking apart around him. He had one chance to send a message. His fingers shook as he activated the emergency beacon. It would broadcast on all frequencies. Every ship in range would hear it. This is Captain Taemin Kang of Earth Vessel New Dawn, he said into the microphone. His voice was steady despite his fear. We are under attack at coordinates Delta 79. 224 souls still aboard. If any human ship can hear this. The ship shook again. Sparks flew from the control panels. Taemin smelled smoke. Our children are dying, he continued. Please, if anyone can hear this, our children... A Vrax weapon hit the communications array. The transmission cut off. The bridge went dark except for emergency lights. Taemin sat in his captain's chair. He had sent the message. He prayed someone heard it. Somewhere out there, beyond the battle, maybe another human ship would receive his call. The Vrax ship stopped firing. They moved closer to the New Dawn. Taemin realized they didn't want to destroy the ship completely. They wanted to board it. They wanted prisoners. Through the smoke and darkness, Taemin heard footsteps. The Vrax were coming. Far away, at Unity Station, Ambassador Kyung-Soo Shin sat in his office reviewing reports. A light blinked on his desk, an emergency transmission. He pressed the button and heard Taemin's voice. He heard the fear. He heard the desperation. He heard children crying in the background. Then he heard silence. Kyung-Soo's hands trembled. He played the message again and again. Each time, it ended the same way, with silence and static. He stood up and ran toward the council chamber. They needed to hear this. The council had to help. But even as he ran, Kyung-Soo feared what he already knew. The council didn't care about one human ship. The council wouldn't send help. At that moment, the same message reached Earth. It traveled through space at the speed of light, carrying Taemin's final words home. Admiral Daeho Nam sat in his office at Earth Defense Command. He was drinking tea when the transmission arrived. He listened once. His teacup fell from his hand and shattered on the floor. The Admiral stood slowly. His face had gone pale, then red, then something else, something cold and hard. Get me every ship we have, he said quietly. Every single ship. I want them ready to move in 1 hour. His aides stared at him. Sir, all of them? That's the entire fleet. That's... I know what it is, Admiral Nam said. His voice was ice. Do it. Now. Across the galaxy, the New Dawn drifted in space, broken and bleeding. Inside, 224 humans hid in the darkness. They heard the Vrax boarding their ship. They heard alien voices speaking in unknown languages. Wu Jin held a wrench like a weapon. Hana held Minji close, covering the girl's mouth to keep her quiet. They hid in the shadows and waited. They didn't know help was coming. They didn't know Earth had heard their captain's call. They didn't know that humanity was about to show the galaxy what it meant to threaten their children. The Vrax thought they had won an easy victory. They had no idea what they had just started. Ambassador Kyung-Soo Shin ran through the corridors of Unity Station. His heart pounded in his chest. He carried a data chip with Taemin's message. The Galactic Council had to hear this. They had to send help. He burst into the council chamber. Hundreds of alien representatives sat in their seats. They looked at him with surprise. Humans were usually so polite, so careful about proper procedure. "I need the council's help," Kyung-Soo said. He was breathing hard. "One of our colony ships is under attack. 224 people are trapped. We need immediate assistance." The council leader, a tall being made of what looked like purple crystals, turned to face him. Its name was Thexara. It had lived for 3,000 years and led the council for 500. "Ambassador Shin," Thexara said slowly, "please calm yourself. Present your request properly." Kyung-Soo wanted to scream. Every second mattered. But he forced himself to breathe. He played Taemin's message for the entire council. The chamber filled with the sound of the captain's desperate voice, then the crying children, then silence. Kyung-Soo waited. Surely they would act now. Surely they would send their fleets. "Where did this attack occur?" asked a council member. "The Outer Veil sector," Kyung-Soo said. "Coordinates Delta 79. The council members looked at each other. Some made sounds that might have been their version of sighing. "That sector is outside our jurisdiction," Thexara said. "The Outer Veil is not protected space." Kyung-Soo stared at the crystal being. "You told us that route was safe. You approved it for colony traffic." "Safe is a relative term," another council member said. "This one looked like a floating jellyfish." "We meant safe from natural hazards. The Vraks operate in that region. Your species should have been more careful." "The Vraks?" Kyung-Soo felt cold. "You knew about them. You knew they attack ships there." "Of course we know," Thexara said. "The Vraks have raided that sector for 200 years. Most species learn to avoid it. Consider this a learning experience for humanity." Kyung-Soo couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Learning experience? There are children on that ship." "Yes, unfortunate," Thexara said. "But the Council cannot interfere every time a young species makes a navigation error. You must learn to handle these situations yourselves." "Then authorize our military to respond," Kyung-Soo said. "Give us permission to send our fleet." "You don't need our permission for that," the jellyfish member said, "but we advise against it. The Vrak's dominion is very powerful. They have destroyed species much older than yours. If you attack them, they will retaliate against all your colonies." "So we should do nothing?" Kyung-Soo's hands shook with rage. "We should let our people die?" "We're sorry for your loss," Thexara said. "But yes. Sometimes the wise choice is to accept losses and move on. The galaxy is dangerous. Not every situation can be fixed." Kyung-Soo looked around the chamber. Hundreds of alien faces stared back at him. None of them showed any concern. None of them cared. "You knew this would happen," Kyung-Soo said quietly. "You sent us on that route knowing the Vraks were there." No one answered him. Kyung-Soo turned and walked out. As the door closed behind him, he heard one council member say to another, "Humans are so emotional. They'll learn, or they won't survive. Either way, the problem solves itself." On Earth, Admiral Dae-ho Nam stood in the command center. Around him, screens showed every ship in the human fleet. Every single vessel was preparing to move. "Sir," his second-in-command said, "are you sure about this? That's our entire military. If we send them all, Earth will be undefended." "I'm sure," Admiral Nam said. "How long until they're ready?" 47 minutes, sir." Admiral Nam nodded. He looked at the star map. The Outer Veil sector was far away. Even at maximum speed, it would take time to get there. "Tell the fleet to prepare for emergency jump," he said. "Override all safety limits. Burn the engines if they have to. I want every ship there as fast as possible." "Sir, if we override the safety limits, we could lose ships during the jump. The engines might fail. I understand, Admiral Nam said. Give the order anyway. His aide hesitated, then sent the command. Across human space, warship engines began powering up. Crews ran to their stations. Weapon systems activated. President So-Min An called from Earth's capital. Her face appeared on the main screen. Admiral, the Council is sending warnings, she said. They say if we attack the Virax, there will be consequences. They say we should stand down. What do you want me to do, Madam President? Admiral Nam asked. President An was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Bring our people home, Admiral. All of them. I don't care what the Council says. Yes, ma'am. The President's image disappeared. Admiral Nam looked at his command staff. You heard her. Launch the fleet. 187 warships began moving. Cruisers, destroyers, carriers, frigates. Every military vessel humanity owned. They all had the same destination. They all had the same mission. The communications officer looked up. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Vrax. Put it on screen. A Vrax appeared. It looked like a cross between a lizard and an insect. Its commander, war leader Vexanar, smiled with too many teeth. Humans, Vexanar said in broken English, we have your weak ones, your children and your sick ones. If you want them back, you will pay. Bring us technology, bring us ships, or we sell them as slaves. The war leader laughed. It was a horrible sound. Oh, Vexanar added, if you try to fight, we kill them all. You understand? Your people die. Choose wisely, little humans. The transmission ended. Admiral Nam stood perfectly still. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm. Too calm. Send a message to the Vrax, he said. Tell them we received their transmission. Tell them we're coming. Tell them they should have killed our people quickly, because what we're going to do to them will be much, much worse. Sir? The communications officer asked. Send it, Admiral Nam said. Make sure every Vrax ship hears it. I want them to know we're coming. I want them to be afraid. The message went out across space. The Vrax received it and laughed. Foolish humans. They didn't understand who they were threatening, but some of the Vrax felt something strange, something they hadn't felt in a long time. A small seed of doubt. On the new dawn, Wu Jin crouched in the engineering section. He had managed to restore minimal power to some systems, enough to seal a few doors, enough to give the survivors small areas where they could hide. Hana held Minji in the medical bay. The little girl had stopped crying. Now she just shook. Hana whispered to her, It's okay. Someone will come. Captain Taman got the message out. Someone heard us. How do you know? Minji asked. Because we're human, Hana said. And humans don't abandon each other. Never. In another part of the ship, 30 survivors had barricaded themselves in a storage room. They had found some tools they could use as weapons. If the Vrax tried to break in, they would fight. The Vrax walked through the ship, searching. They were in no hurry. The ship was disabled. The humans couldn't escape. This would be easy profit. One Vrax soldier opened a door and found himself face to face with a human man holding a metal pipe. The human swung hard. The Vrax fell. The human grabbed the alien's weapon and ran. He found other survivors and gave them the weapon. They were prisoners, yes, but they weren't going to make it easy. Deep in space, the human fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed. But they didn't use the normal, safe methods. They pushed their engines beyond recommended limits. Ships shook and groaned. Some engines started showing red warnings. One captain called Admiral Nam. Sir, our engines are overheating. If we keep this speed, they might explode. How many people can you save if your engines work perfectly? Admiral Nam asked. Sir, how many of those 224 can you personally save if you arrive with working engines? The captain understood. All of them, sir, or none. Doesn't matter about the engines if we're not there. Then keep going, Captain. Yes, sir. The fleet raced through space, and at the front of the fleet, One ship pushed even harder than the rest. The destroyer, Retribution, commanded by Captain Yoonji Han. She was young, only 32 years old. But she was fearless. She had a nephew on the New Dawn, a 6-year-old boy named Junho. He loved dinosaurs and wanted to be a scientist. Yoonji pushed her ship's engines until they screamed. Her crew looked worried, but no one complained. They all knew someone on that colony ship. Everyone in the fleet did. Humanity was still small enough that every loss touched everyone. "How long until we reach them?" Yoonji asked. "At this speed? 12 hours, her navigator said. "But Captain, the engines—" 12 hours, Yoonji said. "Junho can hold on for 12 hours. They all can. We just have to get there." Back at Unity Station, Kyung-soo sat alone in his office. He had failed. The council wouldn't help. He felt useless. Then his communicator beeped. It was Admiral Nam. "Ambassador," the admiral said, "I thought you should know. The fleet has launched. All of it." Kyung-soo sat up straight. "All of it? The entire fleet?" "Every ship. We're going to get our people back." "The council said the Vraks would retaliate. They said—" "I don't care what they said," Admiral Nam interrupted. "We heard our children scream. That's all that matters. Tell the council that humanity is coming, and God help anyone who gets in our way." The transmission ended. Kyung-soo sat back in his chair. For the first time since hearing Taemin's message, he smiled. The galaxy was about to learn something about humanity, something important. Humans could be peaceful, humans could be diplomatic, humans could follow rules, but touch their children, and humans became something else entirely, something the galaxy had never seen before, something terrifying. Captain Yoonji Han gripped her command chair as the Retribution shook violently. Her engines were failing. Red warning lights covered every console. Her crew worked frantically to keep the ship from tearing itself apart. "Engine temperature critical," her engineer reported. "Captain, we need to slow down or we'll lose containment." "How far are we from the New Dawn?" Yoonji asked. 20 minutes at current speed." "Then we keep going," Yoonji said. 20 minutes. We can hold together for 20 minutes. Her navigator turned around. "Captain, sensors show 7 Virax warships in orbit around the New Dawn. We're just one destroyer. We can't fight 7 warships alone." Yoonji looked at the young officer. "My nephew is on that ship. He's 6 years old. He's scared. He's calling for help. I'm not going to make him wait because the odds are bad." "But Captain, the rest of the fleet is 12 hours behind us," Yoonji said. "Those people don't have 12 hours. They need help now, so we're going to give them help, even if it kills us." The bridge went quiet. Then one by one her crew nodded. They understood. This wasn't about tactics or strategy. This was about family. "All weapons prepare to fire," Yoonji ordered. "When we drop out of FTL, I want immediate engagement. Don't wait for my command. Just shoot everything that isn't human." On the New Dawn, things were getting worse. The Vraks had found more survivors. They dragged people out of hiding places and pushed them into the cargo bay. Men, women, children, all terrified. Woo Jin watched from a ventilation shaft. He counted 63 people in the cargo bay now. Vraks guards surrounded them. He wanted to help, but he was alone and unarmed. What could one person do? Then he remembered something his grandfather had told him. One person can't do everything. But one person can do something, and something is better than nothing. Woo Jin started crawling through the ventilation system. He had an idea. Maybe a crazy idea. But crazy was all he had left. In the medical bay, Hana heard boots in the corridor. Vrak's soldiers were getting close. She pushed Minji into a storage cabinet. "Stay quiet," Hana whispered. "No matter what happens, don't make a sound." "Dr. Hana, don't leave me," Minji cried. "I'm not leaving. I'm right here. But you need to hide. Can you be brave for me?" Minji nodded, tears running down her face. Hana closed the cabinet door just as Vrak's soldiers entered the medical bay. One Vrax pointed at Hana. "You, come." No, Hana said. She picked up a surgical laser. It wasn't much of a weapon, but it was all she had. The Varax laughed. Stupid human? You fight, you die. Come now or we hurt you. Then you'll have to hurt me, Hana said, because I'm not going anywhere. The Varax raised his weapon. Hana closed her eyes and thought of all her patients, all the children she had treated. If she was going to die, at least she would die protecting them. Then everything changed. Space itself seemed to tear open. The Retribution dropped out of FTL, right in the middle of the Vrax formation. Before the Vrax could react, Yunji's ship opened fire. Missiles launched. Energy weapons blazed. The Retribution wasn't a big ship, but it was fast, and its crew was angry. 3 Vrax ships took damage immediately. War leader Vexnar's voice boomed across all frequencies. What is this? One human ship? You dare attack us with one small ship? Captain Yunji responded. Her voice was cold. This is Captain Yunji Han of Earth Destroyer, Retribution. You have our people. We're taking them back. Surrender now or die. The Vrax laughed. You are alone. We are 7. This is your last chance. Leave now and live. No, Yunji said simply. You're confused. This isn't your last chance. It's ours. We're here first. We get to fight you first. The rest of our fleet is coming. And when they arrive, there won't be anything left of you to fight. She cut the transmission and turned to her weapons officer. Kill them all. The Retribution flew like a fighter instead of a destroyer. Yunji pushed her ship through impossible maneuvers. She flew between Vrax vessels, firing constantly. Her shields failed. Her hull took damage, but she kept fighting. Inside the new dawn, the Vrax soldiers forgot about Hana. They ran to their combat stations. Something was attacking their fleet. The humans had sent reinforcements. Hana grabbed Minji from the cabinet. Come on! While they're distracted! She ran through the corridors, carrying the girl. She found other survivors and led them to a more secure location. Hope flickered in their eyes. Someone had come. They weren't alone anymore. Wu Jin reached the ship's main power junction. It was heavily damaged, but some systems still worked. He connected his tablet and started typing commands. If he could just... Yes! He managed to activate the emergency communication system. It was weak, but it worked. This is Engineer Wu Jin Choi, he broadcast on all frequencies. To any human ships out there, we have 171 survivors in the cargo bay. Another 53 scattered throughout the ship. We're holding on. Please hurry. Outside, Yunji heard the message. 171 in the cargo bay. She marked that location on her tactical display. Helm, bring us around, she ordered. Put us between the New Dawn and the Vrax flagship. Captain, that will expose our damaged side, her tactical officer warned. I know. Do it anyway. The Retribution moved to protect the colony ship. Vrax weapons hammered her shields. Explosions rocked the bridge. Yunji's ship was dying, but it was buying time. All power to weapons, Yunji said. I want one more shot at their flagship. Captain, we don't have enough power for... I said all power. Take it from life support if you have to. Her crew obeyed. The Retribution gathered every bit of energy it had left. Then it fired everything at the Vrax flagship. The shot was perfect. It hit the Vrax ship's main reactor. The Vrax flagship exploded in a ball of fire. War leader Vexnar barely escaped in a smaller craft. He screamed in rage, "Destroy that human ship! Kill them all!" 6 Vrax warships turned their full attention to the Retribution. They fired together. Yunji's ship couldn't survive that much firepower. It's been an honor serving with you, Yunji told her crew. I hope Junho knows we tried. Then she activated her ship's final weapon, the one every captain hoped they would never use. She set the Retribution on a collision course with the nearest Vrax warship. Brace for impact, she shouted. The Retribution rammed the Vrax vessel at full speed. Both ships exploded. The shockwave damaged 2 more Vrax ships. In the silence that followed, a message went out on all frequencies. It was the Retribution's automated distress beacon. It played Captain Yunji's last words on repeat. For the new dawn. They're not alone anymore. For the new dawn. They're not alone anymore. Inside the colony ship, the survivors heard the message. They wept. Someone had come for them. Someone had fought for them. Someone had died for them. And more were coming. War leader Vexnar regrouped his remaining ships. 4 warships left out of 7. The humans had hurt him badly. But he still had the advantage. He still had the prisoners. Send a message to the human fleet, he ordered. Tell them we will kill 1 prisoner every hour until they retreat. Tell them we will start with the children. His communications officer sent the threat. Then they waited for the human response. They didn't have to wait long. Space tore open again. But this time, it wasn't 1 ship. It was 100. Then more. The sensors couldn't count them all fast enough. 186 human warships dropped out of FTL in perfect formation. They surrounded the Vrak's position completely. Every weapon was armed. Every ship was ready. Admiral Daeho Nam's voice filled space. It was broadcast on every frequency, in every language. This is Admiral Daeho Nam of the United Earth Defense Fleet. You attacked our colony ship. You kidnapped our people. You killed our brave captain who came to save them. Now you threaten to kill children. You have made your final mistake. Vexnar tried to respond. We have your people. If you attack, they die. You're going to kill them anyway, Admiral Nam said. We know how the Vraks operate. We know your species. You take slaves. You sell them. You torture them. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to board that ship. We're going to take our people back. And then we're going to make sure you never threaten anyone again. You can't do this, Vexnar screamed. The Galactic Council forbids this level of military action. There are rules. There are conventions. We're not the Galactic Council, Admiral Nam said. His voice was ice. We're humanity, and you just learned the most important rule about us. We protect our own, no matter the cost, no matter the odds. You hurt our children. You made them cry. You made them afraid. For that, there is no forgiveness. There is no mercy. There is only justice. He paused. Then he gave the order that would change the galaxy forever. All ships, attack. Leave nothing alive. The human fleet surged forward like an avalanche. Every ship, every weapon, every angry, furious, desperate human who had heard children crying across the stars. The Vraks had started a fight with humanity. Now they were going to learn what that truly meant. The battle started like an explosion of stars. Human ships hit the Vraks from every direction at once. The Vraks had fought wars for centuries. They had conquered dozens of species, but they had never seen anything like this. The humans didn't follow normal battle tactics. They didn't form defensive lines or worry about protecting their flanks. They just attacked, constantly, relentlessly. A Vrak's commander tried to organize his ships into a defensive formation. Before he could finish giving orders, 3 human cruisers rammed his vessel. All 3 ships exploded. The Vrak ship broke apart. War leader Vexnar watched in horror from his command craft. They're insane! They're destroying their own ships! Sir, we're receiving multiple distress calls, his communications officer said. The humans are targeting our command vessels. They're ignoring everything else and just killing our commanders. Vexnar understood. The humans weren't trying to win carefully. They were trying to create chaos, and it was working. A human destroyer took heavy damage. Its engines failed. Its weapons were offline, but instead of retreating, it used its last bit of power to crash into a Vrak's carrier. Both ships were destroyed. How many ships have we lost? Vexnar demanded. 15, sir. No. 18. No. Sir, I can't keep count. They're destroying us too fast. The Vraks had started with 4 warships after the Retribution's attack. They had called for reinforcements. 63 more Vraks vessels had arrived. Now they were fighting 67 against 186. The numbers should have favored the Vraks. Their ships were bigger. Their weapons were stronger. They had more experience. But experience meant nothing against pure fury. A human frigate, badly damaged and on fire, broadcast a message as it rammed a Vrak's battleship. For Yunji, for the retribution. For our children! The cry was taken up by other human ships. For our children! For our children! They screamed it as they fought. They screamed it as they died. They screamed it as they killed. On the human flagship Indomitable, Admiral Nam watched the battle. His tactical officer approached. "Sir, we've lost 19 ships. Casualties are mounting." "And the Vraks?" Admiral Nam asked. 31 ships destroyed. They're breaking formation." "Good. Send in the boarding teams. It's time to get our people back." While the main fleet kept the Vraks busy, a special team of ships approached the new dawn. These were smaller, faster vessels, troop carriers. They moved through the chaos like ghosts. Commander Hyejin Bei led the boarding team. She was a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, but she was the best close combat specialist in the fleet. Her team of 200 Marines followed her without question. "Remember," she told them as their ships approached the new dawn, "there are civilians on that ship. Shoot carefully. Every bullet matters. Every life matters." The boarding ships attached to the new dawn's hull. Cutting torches burned through the metal. The Marines poured in. Inside the ship, Vrak soldiers heard the cutting and prepared to fight. They set up defensive positions. They thought they were ready. They weren't. The Marines came through the holes like a wave of fury. They moved fast and shot faster. Every Marine had seen the videos of the Retribution's last stand. Every one of them had heard Captain Yunji's final message. They weren't there to take prisoners. They were there to save lives and punish those who had threatened them. A Vrak's soldier fired at Commander Hyejin. She dodged, slid under his shot, and put 3 bullets in his chest before he could fire again. She kept moving. Her team spread through the ship like water, finding every crack. In the cargo bay, the Vrak's guards heard gunfire getting closer. They pointed their weapons at the prisoners. "Stay back or we kill them!" one guard shouted. The gunfire stopped. Silence filled the corridor outside. The Vrak's relaxed slightly. Then the wall exploded. Marines came through the hole firing. The Vrak's didn't have time to react. In 15 seconds, every guard was dead. Not wounded, dead. The prisoners stared in shock as the Marines secured the room. "Are you hurt?" Commander Hyejin asked an older woman. "No, You came," the woman sobbed. "You actually came." "Of course we came," Hyejin said gently. "You're ours. We always come." Her team started evacuating the prisoners to the boarding ships. 171 people from the cargo bay. All safe now. But there were still 53 more scattered through the ship. Wu Jin was still in the ventilation system when he heard human voices. He almost cried with relief. He climbed down and found a Marine squad. "I'm Engineer Wu Jin Choi," he said. "I know where the other survivors are hiding." "Can you guide us?" the squad leader asked. "Yes. Follow me." Wu Jin led them through the damaged ship. He knew every corridor, every hiding place. They found survivors in sealed compartments, in maintenance shafts, in storage rooms. They found Dr. Hana Park and Minji Lee together, still hiding from Vrak's patrols. "It's okay," a Marine told them. "You're safe now. We've got you." Hana didn't move. She just stared. After so many hours of terror, she couldn't believe it was over. "Dr. Park," the Marine said softly, "we need to get you out. Your people are waiting." That broke through. Hana picked up Minji and followed the Marines. They ran through corridors where human and Vrak's bodies lay. The fighting had been brutal. On the bridge of the New Dawn, Captain Taemin Kang heard footsteps. He grabbed a piece of broken metal, ready to fight. He had fought off 3 Vrak's already. He would fight more if needed. but it wasn't Vrax. It was Commander Hyajin. "Captain Kang?" she asked. Taman dropped his weapon. His legs gave out. He fell to his knees. "How many?" he asked. "How many did you save?" "All of them, sir. All 224. We found everyone." Taman put his face in his hands and wept. Outside the ship, the battle was ending. The Vrax fleet was broken. Ships tried to escape, but human vessels chased them down. No mercy, no quarter. War leader Vexnar tried to run. His small command craft headed toward the edge of the system. If he could just reach the jump point. A human destroyer intercepted him. It was damaged, barely functional, but it moved to block his escape. "This is against the rules of war!" Vexnar screamed. "I surrender! I claim protection under the Galactic Conventions!" The human ship responded. The voice was young, maybe 20 years old. "You threatened to kill children," the human said. "You don't get to surrender." The human destroyer fired everything it had. Vexnar's ship was destroyed in seconds. Across the battlefield, the same scene repeated. Every Vrax ship that tried to surrender was destroyed. Every escape pod was shot down. The humans weren't taking prisoners. On the Indomitable, Admiral Nam's second-in-command spoke quietly. "Sir, some of the Vrax are trying to surrender. Should we?" "No," Admiral Nam said. "They chose this. They attacked civilians. They threatened children. They wanted to fight humanity. Now they're fighting humanity. This is what that looks like." The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, 67 Vrax warships had been destroyed. Every single one. 0 survivors. The human fleet had lost 32 ships. Over 4,000 humans had died in the battle, but they had won. More importantly, they had saved all 224 colonists. The rescue ships brought the survivors to the Indomitable. Medical teams waited to treat them. Food and water were ready. Counselors stood by to help with trauma. Admiral Nam watched them come aboard. Parents clutched their children. Crew members hugged each other. Dr. Hannah Park stumbled off the transport, still carrying Minji Lee. A medic approached. "Dr. Park, please let us help." Hannah shook her head. "Not yet. Not until everyone is safe." She carried Minji to the medical bay herself. Only after she saw every survivor being cared for did she finally collapse. Wu Jin was brought aboard on a stretcher. He had burns and injuries from fighting the Vrax, but he was smiling. "We held on," he told the medics. "We held on until you came. I knew you would come." Captain Taman was the last one off the New Dawn. He refused to leave his ship until everyone else was safe. Admiral Nam met him at the airlock. "Captain Kang," the admiral said, "your message saved them. Every single person survived because of you." "My message?" Taman was confused. "I thought it was cut off. I thought no one heard." "We heard," Admiral Nam said. "Earth heard. The fleet heard. We heard you say our children were dying. That's all we needed to hear." Taman looked at the admiral. "You brought the entire fleet. For 224 people." "Yes. That's insane. That's not good tactics." "No," Admiral Nam agreed. "It's not good tactics. It's humanity. We don't leave our people behind. We don't calculate odds when our children call for help. We just come. All of us." In the Indomitable's medical bay, young Minji Lee sat on a bed. Her mother had been found in the escape pods. They were together again. A nurse gave Minji a warm blanket and a cup of hot chocolate. "Are we really safe now?" Minji asked. "Yes, sweetheart," her mother said. "The bad aliens are gone. Our people came and saved us." "All those ships came just for us?" "Yes." Minji thought about that. "We must be pretty important." Her mother hugged her tight. "You are. Every single person is important. That's what being human means." Across the galaxy, the footage of the battle spread. Every species watched. They saw the human fleet arrive. They saw the desperate fighting. They saw humans ramming enemy ships without hesitation. They saw a species that would burn the galaxy down to save their children. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Ambassador Kyung-soo stood before them again. "You violated 17 interstellar conventions," Thexara said. "You destroyed an entire fleet. You took no prisoners. This is unacceptable." Kyung-soo smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "We asked for your help," he said. "You refused. You told us to accept our losses. You told us to move on. So we did. We moved on. We moved our fleet. We moved it right through the Vraks." "This will have consequences," Thexara warned. "Yes," Kyung-soo agreed. "It will. The consequence is that everyone now knows what happens when you threaten humanity. You called us emotional, weak, primitive. You were right about one thing. We are emotional. We love our people. We protect our people. And we will kill anyone who tries to hurt them." He turned to leave. Then he stopped. "Oh, and Thexara, next time we send a distress call, I suggest you answer it. Because if you don't, we'll handle it ourselves. And you've seen how we handle things." The council sat in silence as the human ambassador walked out. 6 months had passed since the Battle of the Outer Veil. The galaxy was still adjusting to what had happened that day. On Earth, a new monument stood in the capital city. It was made of black stone and rose 50 feet into the air. Names were carved into every surface. 2,847 names, every human who died in the battle. At the very top, carved larger than the others, was one name, Captain Yoonji Han. Below that, another line. She came first. She fought alone. She gave everything. The monument's base had an inscription that millions came to read. They came for 224. We sent 187 ships. This is humanity. Captain Taemin Kang stood before the monument. He came here every week. He felt he owed these people his life. No, more than that. He owed them his soul. "You didn't have to die for us," he whispered to the stone. "We were just one ship, just a few hundred people." "That's where you're wrong," a voice said behind him. Taemin turned. Admiral Daeho Nam stood there, also looking at the monument. "You weren't just one ship," the admiral continued. "You were our ship. Those weren't just a few hundred people. They were our people. That's what makes us different from the rest of the galaxy." "Different how?" Taemin asked. "Most species calculate value. They ask, how many can we save? Or, is it worth the cost? We don't ask those questions. We just ask, are they ours? If the answer is yes, we come. All of us, no matter what." Taemin was quiet for a moment. "Have you heard about the changes in the fleet?" Admiral Nam nodded. "The Relentless protocol. Every ship is now required to respond to any human distress call immediately. No questions asked. No calculations of risk." "Some people say it's too dangerous," Taemin said, "that we're being reckless." "Maybe we are," Admiral Nam agreed. "But I'd rather be reckless than leave our people to die alone. Captain Yoonji was reckless. She attacked 7 warships alone. She died for it. But because of her, those civilians had hope. They knew someone was fighting for them. That's worth more than 1,000 careful battle plans." At Unity Station, Ambassador Kyung-soo sat in a council meeting. But things were different now. When he spoke, the council listened. "We're expanding our patrol routes," Kyung-soo announced. "Human ships will now operate in the Outer Veil sector permanently." "That sector is dangerous," a council member objected. "Your species will lose ships there." "Yes, we will," Kyung-soo said calmly. "But no one else will lose their families there. Not while we're watching." Thexara, the crystal being, leaned forward. "Ambassador Shin, we need to discuss the incident 6 months ago. Your military action violated many laws. Then change your laws, Kyung-Soo said. Or enforce them. Send your fleets to stop us. Oh, wait. You don't have fleets. You have committees and discussions and carefully worded statements. We have ships. We have people willing to die for each other. That's the difference. Another council member spoke up. Your species is becoming aggressive. Other races are worried. Good, Kyung-Soo said. Let them be worried. Let them think twice before attacking civilian ships. Let them remember what happened to the Vracs. That's the point. The Vracs' Dominion is demanding reparations, Thexara said. They claim you destroyed 67 ships without provocation. Kyung-Soo laughed. It wasn't a kind sound. Without provocation, they attacked a colony ship full of children. They threatened to sell our people as slaves. That's provocation. And reparations? Tell them they can have reparations. We'll send them the wreckage of their ships. That's all they're getting. The council chamber fell silent. No one knew how to respond to this new, confident humanity. On the colony world of Kepler 442, the settlement of Haven was thriving. The colonists from the New Dawn had finally reached their destination. 400 volunteers had joined them, inspired by their survival story. The colony's first building was a school. The second was a memorial. It listed the names of everyone who had saved them. Yoonji Han's name was at the top. Minji Lee, now 13 years old, stood in front of her class giving a presentation. She was nervous but determined. 6 months ago, my colony ship was attacked, she began. We were scared. We thought we were going to die. Then Captain Yoonji came. Just one ship. Then more ships. So many ships. They came from everywhere. They came for us. She paused, remembering. My teacher asked me to explain why the fleet came. Why they risked everything for 224 people. I think I know the answer now. It's because we're human, and humans don't abandon each other. Ever. The class was quiet. Some of the kids were crying. They all knew the story. Every human child learned it now. It was taught in schools across the galaxy. In the colony's defense center, Minji's mother worked as a coordinator. She monitored all ship traffic in the sector. If anyone sent a distress call, she would hear it, and if she heard it, the fleet would know immediately. We're not just protecting our colony, she told her team. We're protecting everyone who travels through this space. That's our job now. That's what we do. Dr. Hannah Park had returned to work, but she was different now. She had seen the worst of what aliens could do. She had also seen the best of what humans could be. She ran a medical training program now, teaching doctors and nurses how to work in crisis situations. Every lesson included her experience on the New Dawn. You'll be scared, she told her students. You'll think you can't handle it, but you can, because you're not alone. Help is coming. It's always coming. You just have to hold on until it arrives. One student asked, But Dr. Park, what if help doesn't come in time? Hannah thought about Yoonji Han, ramming her ship into an enemy vessel. She thought about the Marines who fought room by room to save them. She thought about Admiral Nam sending the entire fleet. It will come, she said with certainty. It always comes. That's what being human means. Woo Jin had been offered a desk job after his injuries. He refused. He was back in space now, serving as chief engineer on a new colony ship. This one was named the Unbroken Dawn, rebuilt from the salvaged parts of the original New Dawn. His crew asked him if he was scared to go back to space after what happened. Every day, Woo Jin admitted. But being scared is okay. Running away is not. If I hide on Earth, I'm letting the Vracs win. They wanted us to be afraid. They wanted us to stay home. So I'm doing the opposite. I'm going back out there. And if pirates attack us again, I'll fight them again. And the fleet will come again. That's how it works now. The Vracs' Dominion never recovered from the battle. They lost not just ships, but their reputation. They had built their empire on fear. Now they were the ones who were afraid. Other predatory species watched what happened and quietly changed their plans. Raids on human ships stopped completely. In fact, raids on most civilian ships decreased. Pirates and slavers didn't want to risk attracting human attention. A phrase became common in the criminal underworld. Don't touch the humans. Don't even think about it. 10 years after the Battle of the Outer Veil, the galaxy had changed in unexpected ways. Human patrol ships were everywhere. They didn't just protect human vessels. They protected anyone who needed help. A Talarian freighter sent a distress call when pirates attacked them. The nearest human destroyer arrived within an hour. The pirates fled immediately. They didn't even try to fight. The Talarian captain sent a message to the human ship. "Thank you for the rescue. But why did you help us? We're not human." The human captain's response was simple. "The pirates threatened civilians. That's all we needed to know." That story spread. Other species started to understand. Humans didn't just protect their own, they protected everyone. Not because they had to, because that's who they were. The Galactic Council tried to adapt to this new reality. They created new regulations about military responses. They formed committees to study human behavior. They wrote reports about human psychology. None of it mattered. Humans didn't follow council regulations. They followed their own code. And that code was simple. Protect the weak. Answer distress calls. Never leave anyone behind. Ambassador Kyung-soo eventually retired from council service. He was 83 years old. His replacement was a younger woman named Yuna Kim. She was tough, smart, and had no patience for council bureaucracy. On her first day, Thexara tried to lecture her about proper procedure. Yuna cut him off. "Let me be clear about something. I'm here as a courtesy. We don't need the council's permission for anything. We'll keep attending these meetings as long as they're useful. But if you waste our time, we'll leave. And we'll keep doing what we do. Is that understood?" Thexara was silent. The crystal being had lived for 3,000 years. It had seen species rise and fall, but it had never seen anything like humanity. "You've changed the galaxy," Thexara finally said. "In just a few decades, you've disrupted systems that existed for millennia." "Good," Yuna said. "Your systems were broken. They let predators operate freely. They sacrificed the weak to maintain balance. We don't believe in that kind of balance. We believe in justice." Years continued to pass. The story of the New Dawn became legend. Every human child learned about Captain Yunji's sacrifice. Every ship captain studied the Battle of the Outer Veil. Every parent told their children the story of how humanity responded when its youngest were threatened. On the 20th anniversary of the battle, a massive ceremony was held at the monument on Earth. Every survivor attended. Every family of the fallen was there. Minji Lee, now 32 years old, was asked to speak. She stood before millions, both in person and watching across the galaxy. 20 years ago, I was a scared little girl hiding on a damaged ship," she began. "I thought I was going to die. Then I heard something that changed everything. I heard Captain Yunji's voice. She said, 'They're not alone anymore.' And we weren't. Suddenly we had hope. We had a chance." She paused, looking at the names on the monument. "People ask me why the fleet came. Why risk so much for so few? I've had 20 years to think about that. Here's my answer. They came because we called. That's it. That's the whole reason. We were theirs, and we called for help, and they came. Every single ship, every single person, no questions asked. That's what makes us human, not our technology, not our weapons, not our ships. It's this. When you call, we come. When you're scared, we protect you. When you're lost, we find you. No matter where you are, no matter how long it takes, we come." The crowd was silent. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Then everyone. The applause lasted for 10 minutes. In the crowd, an old man watched with tears in his eyes. It was Captain Taman, now retired and gray-haired. Next to him sat Wu Jin, who still walked with a limp from his old injuries. Dr. Hannah Park stood nearby, now a grandmother. They were the survivors, the ones who had sent the call that changed everything. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Taman asked quietly. "Sending that message? So many people died because of it." Hannah looked at him. "So many people lived because of it too. Not just us. Think about all the ships that haven't been attacked because pirates are afraid. Think about all the people who sleep better knowing that if they call, someone will answer." Unji would have come anyway, Wu Jin added. Fleet or no fleet, she would have come for her nephew. That's who we are. Taman nodded slowly. "Yeah, I guess you're right." That night, as Earth rotated beneath the stars, the human fleet maintained its watch. Ships patrolled the outer sectors. Sensors scanned for distress signals. Crews stood ready. On the bridge of the destroyer Relentless, a young captain named Junho sat in the command chair. He was Yoonji Han's nephew, the boy she had died to save. Now he commanded a ship named in honor of humanity's promise. His communications officer looked up. "Captain, we're receiving a faint distress signal. It's not human. Looks like a Delarian transport." "How far away?" Junho asked. 3 hours at maximum speed." "Set course. Maximum speed." "Sir, shouldn't we check with command first? It's not our responsibility." Junho smiled. "Yes, it is. They called for help. That makes it our responsibility. That's what my aunt taught me. That's what humanity stands for. Now let's go save some people." The Relentless turned and accelerated into the darkness. Behind it, more ships followed, because that's what humans did. They heard the call. They came. Every time, without fail. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity was not the biggest species, not the oldest, not the strongest, but they were the most relentless. Touch their people, and they would come for you with everything they had, and they would never, ever stop. Somewhere in the void, the spirit of Captain Yoonji Han smiled. Her sacrifice hadn't been in vain. She had shown the galaxy what one person could do. One ship. One moment of courage. And humanity had turned that moment into a promise carved in stone and written in the stars. "We hear you. We're coming. You're not alone. Never alone. The end."